war has started. And we are hopelessly outgunned.
Director Fury, I think it's time.
The Avengers, or Avengers Assemble to give it its UK release title, is the ambitious culmination of nearly 5 years' work for Marvel Studios, bringing together characters and narrative threads from previous releases, including 2008's The Incredible Hulk, the 2 Iron Man films, and both Thor and Captain America the First Avenger from 2011. It's a fairly unique achievement in the film industry, and certainly a daring one in bringing together and juggling so many central superhero characters who've already begun carrying franchises by themselves. Fortunately for all involved, where the Avengers could have easily become an overwrought mess that buckled under the weight of so many leads, it's instead a very accessible, evenly handled, and thoroughly entertaining outing which is aided tremendously by director Joss Whedon's masterful balancing of character, action, and even a healthy dose of comedy.
When they come, and they will, they'll come for you.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
The film's plot sees the arrival of Thor's central villain Loki to Earth, and the response by Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury and his agency known as S.H.I.E.L.D. to bring together the Avengers unit to counter this threat. Amongst the team we have Robert Downey Jr. back on scene-stealing form as Iron Man's Tony Stark, Chris Evans as Super Soldier Captain America, Scarlett Johansson and Jeremy Renner as Master Assassins Black Widow and Hawkeye, Chris Hemsworth as Asgard God Thor, and newcomer to Marvel Mark Ruffalo, who replaces Edward Norton as Bruce Banner and his less than amiable alter ego, the Incredible Hulk. It's an impressive lineup, and whilst the film's plot is relatively straightforward and predictable from the get-go, Whedon and the cast do great character work here and provide some truly fan-pleasing moments between practically the entire unit, from the more showy smackdowns between the likes of Iron Man, Captain America and Thor, through to a claustrophobic and brilliantly choreographed clash of assassins between Johansson's Black Widow and Renner's Hawkeye. And for all of the truly brilliant action set pieces and dukeouts, this isn't a film which goes down the Michael Bay or Roland Emmerich route of ignoring character for the sake of catastrophe, and gives each member of the Avengers unit their due attention and emotional grounding in the narrative. Not since Bryan Singer brought the X-Men to our screens has such a deft handling of superhero character and spectacle been so expertly judged. Chris Evans' Captain America is a somewhat disillusioned figure coming to terms with his place in the new world he's woken into, Johansson's Black Widow provides some brilliant emotional ambiguity and about-turns, and Chris Hemsworth's Thor, for instance, is the last of the team to arrive. Yet his noble principles on how to deal with Loki, his initial disdain for the rest of the team, and general Asgardian pomp instantly cement him as a very individual and unique element to the team. Mark Ruffalo's brilliant turn as the nervous, edgy Bruce Banner, and the stellar work done in animating the Hulk help make this in many ways the best and definitive interpretation of the character we've yet seen on screen. The only real weak link then is unfortunately Hawkeye, and whilst Jeremy Renner gives a capable and suitably athletic performance, the character is removed from the rest of the team until fairly late in the game, has no previous film or backstory of his own aside from a cameo in Thor and elements that are lightly touched upon with Black Widow, and when he does become involved in the spectacular finale, a lot of his arrow-slinging antics have all been seen elsewhere before, and they do pale in comparison to the likes of skyscraper-smashing Hulk and lightning-hurling Thor. As the character who's been given the least development and arc so far in the series, it is unfortunate to see him relegated to the sidelines for so much of the film, and his character does suffer as a result. Other characters in the film also suffer in the same way. For instance, Kobe Smulders' Agent Maria Hill and Stellan Skarsgård's return as Professor Selvig are both given relatively little to do throughout. And likewise, the main villainous alien force behind Loki's attack is also disappointingly underdeveloped and realised. With the plot occasionally turning its attention to slightly irrelevant and forced subplots, such as the darker side of S.H.I.E.L.D. and its governing council in a plot complication that feels ripped straight from Armageddon, the lack of any real motivation or explanation to the finale's alien invaders leaves them feeling very perfunctory and atypical. And it's an uncharacteristic move by Whedon, and one that is really at odds with the great character work he does with the Avengers themselves.
No offense, but I don't play well with others.
Big man in a suit of armor. Take that away, what are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
One character that does fare better, however, is Clark Gregg's enigmatic agent Phil Coulson,
who, having appeared in a number of the previous Marvel movies,
is more prominent this time round.
And he's given some great characterful moments with Loki, Captain America, and Black Widow in particular.
Let me put you on hold.
Despite the few minor flaws I've mentioned, The Avengers is still a terrific film, and in many ways it is a perfect summer blockbuster. The numerous action sequences and set pieces are bold, sweeping and superbly directed, and easily up there with the finest this genre can offer. And for all the high-octane thrills and spills, it's the characters who truly shine and engage, with the brilliantly judged comedic tone that runs throughout, helping to make sure nobody takes themselves or the film too seriously.
And I'm a huge fan of the way you lose control and turn into an enormous green rage monster.
Hey.
And so masterfully blending some impressive action, an expansive and diversive cast of engaging and brilliantly realised superheroes, and some genuinely great character drama and comedy, The Avengers is an instantly accessible, all-round cinematic delight, even for those who may not have seen any of the individual movies which have come before it. With the summer due to throw out some heavier hitting and more sombre genre fare such as The Amazing Spider-Man and The Dark Knight Rises, what The Avengers offers is a much lighter and supremely entertaining action-adventure spectacle that really is for all ages. It's confidently comedic yet undeniably awesome, and it deserves to be nothing less than a Hulk-smashing success at the box office. Whether you're a fan of the comics or just of a good time at the cinema as a whole, The Avengers comes highly recommended. We give it 4 stars.
This is nothing we were ever trained for.